In this part, we are going to study immunodeficiency diseases. What is immunity? The overall ability of the body to fight against the disease-causing pathogens is called immunity. It is also called as disease resistance. If there is immunodeficiency, that will reduce the disease resistance. Immunodeficiency diseases reduce the immunity. Immune system has many components. If any one of the components is defective, that will result in immunodeficiency. Here there are two types of immunodeficiencies. The first one is primary immunodeficiencies. Here the reason is genetic reason. Primary immunodeficiencies are caused by genetic or developmental defects. The genes are responsible for proteins. Genes are responsible for antibodies. So the defective genes result in primary immunodeficiencies. Secondary immunodeficiencies are due to various reasons. Radiation is one of the reasons. The radiation reduces the immune response. Use of cytolytic and immunosuppressive drugs also reduce immunity. Infections also reduce immunity. Especially the HIV infection causes immunodeficiency diseases. AIDS, it is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It is a viral disease. It is caused by human immunodeficiency virus. It selectively infects T helper cells. After the infection, our immunity is activated. We have two types of immunity: antibody mediated immunity and cell mediated immunity. Both acquired immunity are activated by T helper cells. But here the HIV virus infects T helper cells. So the infected T helper cells cannot stimulate immune response. Infected T helper cells cannot stimulate the B cells to produce antibodies. Antibodies are produced by B cells. For that, the B cells are activated by T helper cells. Here the T helper cells are affected by HIV virus. That results in immunodeficiency. So the individuals will be easily affected by bacterial and viral infections. There is loss of natural defense against various infections because of the defect in the T helper cells or death of T helper cells. HIV-1 and HIV-2 are two types of infections. HIV-1 is most common type. It accounts for 95% of all infections. HIV-2 is relatively uncommon. It is less fatal and less infectious. It progresses more slowly than HIV-1. So HIV-1 is more infectious than HIV-2. HIV virus is a retrovirus. Retroviruses have RNA as genetic material. They have the capacity of changing their RNA into DNA by enzyme reverse transcriptase. HIV comes under the genus lentivirus. It is a spherical shaped virus. Its size is 60 times smaller than the red blood cells. Its size ranges between 100 to 120 nanometer in diameter. The HIV virus has central part. The central part is central core. Inside the central core, the genetic material RNA is present. And the central core is covered by capsid. The capsid is made up of protein, and finally it is covered by outer envelope. The outer envelope is made up of lipoprotein. Now let us see what is inside the capsid. This is envelope. It is outer covering. Capsid covers the genetic material. This is capsid. Inside the capsid there are two single-stranded RNA. The RNA molecules are attached with enzyme reverse transcriptase. With the help of the reverse transcriptase, the RNA is converted into DNA during infection. In addition to reverse transcriptase, the central core contains enzymes like protease and ribonuclease. The protease and ribonuclease enzymes can destroy the proteins and nucleic acids. The core is covered by capsid made up of proteins. This is a protein capsid. This protein capsid is covered by another covering, that is matrix protein. Capsid is covered by matrix protein. Finally, it is covered by envelope. Now let us see the parts one by one. Central core has RNA and reverse transcriptase enzyme. It is covered by this RNA. Central core is covered by capsid. And next to the capsid, what is present? Matrix protein is present. Finally, the envelope covers the HIV virus. The envelope is made up of lipoprotein. It's a lipoprotein envelope. The lipoprotein envelope has glycoprotein spikes. Like other retroviruses, HIV also has glycoprotein spikes. This is a glycoprotein spike, single spike. It has two regions. Glycoprotein 120 is like a knob, and glycoprotein 41 is inserted into the envelope. So envelope is the outer part. Central core is capsid. Central core is covered by capsid. Central core has the genetic material single-stranded RNA. This is the structure of HIV virus. In the next video, we will learn about the HIV infection symptoms, diagnosis, and control measures.